My name is Janet Rogers. I am 60 years old, and I started CrossFit when I was 54. I wasn't athletic growing up at all. I tried running a little bit, but I really hated it. And then I had a really bad divorce about 1999, and at that point I went up to 200 pounds. I was always like an emotional eater. Food meant love to me. My mom always made dessert. My grandma always made brownies and this and that, you know, all our favorite things. And so I always comforted myself with food. You know, I was so wounded from the breakup that it was really almost protective. I just didn't want anybody to pay any attention to me or look at me, you know. But then when I got out to California and I was doing my science prereqs to get into chiropractic college, I wanted to get healthier again.
I was born on January 7th, 1986, and I weighed 1 pound, 1 ounce. They had told my parents that I was either going to be physically or mentally handicapped for the rest of my life, or I was going to be dead. I gained weight and I started developing more, and you know, my parents were able to take me home after 4 months, and you know, ever since then I've grown, but I've just grown slowly and been smaller than everyone else around me. When I was growing up and you know, everyone starts developing around 12, 13 years old, and I just stayed the same, and everyone around me grew taller and bigger, and it didn't seem to happen for me, but you know, eventually I was okay with that, and that's where I've been. I've always had a drive to do well in everything in my life, and I'm 4'9", but I'm also way stronger than you think I am.
When I got out to California, I got a personal trainer, but it was boring. It was the standard, here's your cardio, this day you do your upper body, this day you do your lower body, using a lot of machines and stuff like that. And when I graduated, I went back to Charleston, West Virginia, where I grew up. So I was looking for a gym to join there. And there was an article in the paper about this place called CrossFit. So I went down to this open house and I said, I have 3 hours a week and I have to be in and out in an hour. Am I gonna get results if I start doing this? And he said, yeah, you will. I said, okay, I'm gonna try it. Before long, I was going, you know, 5 days a week. I loved constantly learning new skills, and there's always room to get better. You never get to the point where you've totally got something, you know, like you've totally got a deadlift, or you totally have a snatch, or you know, you totally have a handstand push-up. You can always get better at everything. And I love throwing heavy weights around because it just makes me feel really capable.
Strength is something you have to practice on a regular basis. You have to be willing to put in a lot of time in order to get stronger. It takes a lot of patience. It's not something that you build overnight. It's something you have to work for and cultivate over the course of weeks and months and years. You don't necessarily see a lot of people in their 40s, 50s, 60s doing things competitively or doing anything at a high level, let alone any strength training. Janet is a great role model for people in their 50s and 60s to go to the gym to try and get stronger, because even at her age, she is putting on muscle mass. She is getting stronger. She is getting more coordinated and learning new skills, which is an amazing thing.
I love the competitive aspect of it, that you compete against yourself and that you're also competing against, you know, your classmates. And there's even like competitions for CrossFit, which I didn't know for a long time. In 2012, I heard about the Open. So I did it that year, and there were about 700 women. And I came in number 30 in my age group. One thing led to another, and people at my gym asked me if I would come work out with the competition team. So I started doing that.
8, 9, 10. Great job, Janet.
I didn't do many sports growing up. I danced a little bit in high school. I took the occasional kickboxing class in college. And then at 26, I decided to try out CrossFit.
I remember when she first walked in the door, everyone pointed out, she is so little, she's going to get broken when she comes in here. Actually, quite the opposite. She's gotten significantly stronger. I remember when she couldn't even lift the empty barbell, and now she's doing significantly more.
When I started CrossFit, I weighed about 78 pounds, and I currently weigh 85 pounds. So in 3 years, I've gained 7 pounds, mostly of muscle. You know, finding CrossFit and being able to learn that I have so much strength physically, even as someone as a small person, was really incredible.
I said to Nicki one day, would you be interested in doing a powerlifting competition? She laughed, but after a little pressing from myself and another coach, we got her into thinking about it, and she started training for it.
I did my first powerlifting competition in October, and I had a great time doing it because it was really you against yourself.
Strength is very deceptive. If you look at someone like Nicki, someone off the street may not even suspect her to be able to lift a barbell over her head, when in fact, Nicki can lift nearly 100 pounds over her head, and she can pick more than twice her body weight up off the ground. In Nicki's second powerlifting competition, she won her weight class. Pound for pound, Nicki is one of the strongest women in this gym.
It's a lot of fun to just, you know, try to figure out what you can do and beat yourself and beat your old numbers and get better, instead of trying to focus on what the person next to you is doing. Lifting weights and picking things up that are really heavy feels really badass. And it feels great to be able to know that I can do a lot of things that I couldn't do before.
At first I was just kind of like, oh shit, what have I gotten myself into? You know? Everybody here was so excited about it, and I was worried that I would, you know, let people down. But now I've moved to the point of you know, really owning it. I've worked really hard to get here, and now I'm in it to win it. And the games are in a week.
We are looking at the 60-plus women's masters division, and they're putting over 100 pounds over their head.
Jeanette Rogers out of the Northeast CrossFit NYC, New York, New York. Her final rep in lane number 8. And Rogers around the bar. She'll make her way to the finish.
At 60 years old, this is definitely the strongest I have ever been. Not just because I'm physically strong, but because of what this demands of you as a sport. When you get through something like that, there's so much you can take away from that for your life. You know, when you're facing something difficult or something you think maybe you can't do at work, that is like, well, you know what? I did that, so I bet I can do this too.
My next goals are to be able to put over 100 pounds overhead. I'm almost there. And doing more powerlifting competitions.
Some people call Nicki the ant. I personally call her Little Nicki.
Ants are very small and they can pick up over double their body weight. And I can do the same thing.
Oh, good job.